All right. Good evening, Macy. How are you?
Good evening, Mike. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. We're in for a treat tonight with Jane Lee joining us. So I thought we'd do a few introductions. This is a webinar about the opportunity for us to meet a resident at the Hallmark. So many of you are tuned in because you're on our website and know about the Hallmark. So we're going to dive right into this. Introductions first. Macy, I may start with you. Thank you for hosting this. You've hosted a number of webinars for us, and we appreciate that. Macy works with the Lee Group, which is our ad agency at the Hallmark, and is quite talented and helps coordinate our website and our print advertising and coordinates articles that are in the newspaper for us. And we thank you for that, Macy.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I'm excited to be here with you tonight and with Mrs. Jane Lee. And Mike, I don't know anybody better than you to lead this webinar this evening. You are a senior living industry expert. You've been doing this for, gosh, going on three decades now. And so your knowledge and your expertise are just unparalleled. And so I'm glad that you're here to lead us tonight.
Thank you. I've been privileged to work with Brazos Presbyterian Homes now for about 12 years, helping Brazos Towers with a major expansion and now helping the Hallmark with lots of the work that they do there. Jane Lee is joining us. Jane, welcome, and thank you for being a part of this.
Good night. Hello.
I thought I would introduce you a bit. Jane and I have known each other for about 12 years. She's been on the board of directors with Brazos Presbyterian Homes for a number of years. Presently, she and her husband, Bill, live at the Hallmark. And Bill and I have a love of history. And I shared a book with him yesterday. And Jane, he may be quietly in a corner in your apartment reading that book. But I've gotten to know Jane and Bill so well and delighted to share with you today about them. Jane is the current vice president of our resident association and likely will be the president. That's usually the way that progresses. So that's quite a job, quite an honor to be voted by your peers within the community to be that. You were a senior vice president with Methodist Hospital for many, many years, and I know retired to stay home or to be home with when the grandchildren came along. And Bill was a management consultant and a professor at the University of Houston and was the associate dean for executive education with the business school at Rice. So talented man as well. So you're going to enjoy hearing from Jane today and hear about life in the community. I'm going to touch a little bit quickly about who we are as an organization. Brazos Presbyterian Homes has been in Houston now for nearly 60 years. Started first as Bayou Manor, then changed the name to Brazos Towers at Bayou Manor. About 50 years ago, purchased the Hallmark, which we're going to talk about tonight, and then recently purchased Longhorn Village and operates that in Austin. So 3 fantastic communities in Texas, and Brazos Presbyterian Homes is one of the larger community organizations in the state. And Macy, can you maybe mute some of our participants? I think I might have heard some feedback there. The Hallmark, we're going to, as I mentioned, chat about this. Bill and Jane live in this building, which is the Heritage Building within our community. We're going to show you lots about them. We're in a great part of Houston called Uptown. Dynamic urban lifestyle as part of the life here. Restaurants and shopping are just footsteps away from our community in all directions. And we do have, say footsteps because a lot of people do walk. It's very walkable, even over to neighborhoods such as Tanglewood for exercise. But people like living this close to all the amenities that are there. We're going to share a few pictures with you. This is a model residence that we have. We encourage you to come see us. And we're going to focus on Jane and Bill's apartment in just a bit. But this gives you a feel for what you can come and do as a resident here. I say that because you can take in a residence that had been lived in and we give you the opportunity to renovate it, or some of these are in move-in conditions. So there's great spaces for people to enjoy. And this is another one. This is an apartment that we have available now. This is the kitchen for that and a beautiful view looking westward from with these expansive windows just off the kitchen area. So Jane, before we dive into your apartment and looking at it, can you share with us a little bit about what do you like most about living at the Hallmark?
Well, I will have to admit that not having to plan and cook every meal is pretty high on the list. It's great not to have maintenance worries. I mean, anything as simple as I have a ceiling light bulb that's burned out. Please come replace it. And they're up to replace it. To the ice maker is not working quite right. You don't have to call some unknown person and wait for 3 days. It's our own maintenance people who come very promptly. And it's really great. I've met interesting people. We've lived in Houston a while and we had friends, but I've met people that I probably would have never met any other way, who've had fascinating life stories. This was particularly nice when we had the COVID lockdown. We were not eating in the dining room here to protect our health. But with a mask on, we could go down to the lounge and we were careful to sit far apart, but you could see other faces and talk to other people safely. And I think when you read so much about the loneliness during that period, I was very thankful I was here with interesting people to be around. And also will add, I appreciated it in a new way when we had the terrible freeze in Houston recently. And so many people had no heat, no water, no lights, no TV, of course. We had lights, we had heat, we had hot meals brought to our apartment, and it was great. So I realized that some of the worries that I would have had in my own home, I don't have here anymore.
Yeah, fantastic. And you and Bill moved in 2019?
I've been here almost 3 years. That's right.
Mm-hmm. This question I've just posted on the board. Why did you choose to move? I guess you feel like you've covered that. Is there any other reasons? Was it?
Yeah, there are some others, Mike. I've been associated with these retirement communities for a long time, and I have seen both with friends and stories I've heard for people who waited for a crisis to decide that they no longer needed to be in their home, that they needed to be in a retirement community where a lot of things were taken care of. And inevitably, they would say, I should have done it sooner. It's hard to make a move in the middle of a crisis. Moving is not easy. And I have just seen that over and over, and I was determined it was not going to happen to me. I wanted to plan ahead. As you get older, something is going to happen. There's going to be a health crisis. Something will probably cause you to need to rethink your living arrangements. Also, and you mentioned I've been on the board here. This is a not-for-profit, and it feels different, I think, than a lot of organizations I've heard about where other people are. For over 50 years, it's been focused on serving residents, not concerned about returning to stockholders a return on their investment or to owners. It's so focused on serving residents. And I knew from being on the board that it was in sound financial condition and has been for many, many years.
As you mentioned, we've been around for almost 60 years. And I was sharing to a group we were presenting to today, and I said, the forecast is 60 more years. There's no end in sight for being able to continue to serve in the capacity that we do serve.
So Mike, I knew that here, if I should have a health crisis, skilled nursing was available. That is not true in all retirement communities. Most of them have some sort of bridge, maybe assisted living. Not all of them have skilled nursing. And I may never need it, but it's here if I need it.
Yeah, I'm sure that gives you a lot of peace of mind and a sense of security, knowing that all the levels of care are at the Hallmark, which is so true. Thanks for sharing that. Jane, what we wanted to dive into is you and Bill have a fabulous apartment, And you selected this, and I'd like for you to walk us through and tell us about the selection of this, how you decorated it, what we included in things, and just give us a good overview. We're going to start first with the floor plan. I might do this part, Jane, and just say you've got an entrance into a living room, dining room, kitchen that's somewhat open, a nice office that's right off of that living room space, and then two nice sized bedrooms with baths. The primary suite that where your bedroom is, yours and Bill's bedroom is, that's where you have a big closet and nice sized bathroom. The guest bedroom has a bath across the hall from that. So we'll dive in and show some great pictures with it. So tell us about this part of your residence.
Well, if I wanted to do a lot of cooking, I could in this wonderfully equipped kitchen. And I like the fact that it's open. The floor plan would make it appear as if you walk right into the kitchen. You don't. You walk in and your eye goes straight to the living room and dining room. But then as you continue into the apartment, it is open and it feels very spacious.
Right. So I'm going to advance some of these. This is as if I'm going to go back. This is as if the photographer was right near your range and took this picture over your bar into your dining room area. I'll advance it a little bit further. Your furnishings, we get questioned a lot, Jane. Do we furnish it or do you furnish it? And I know you know the answer to that.
Most of the furniture in here, almost all of it, came from my other home. And it really fit beautifully. And there are people who will, at the Hallmark, who will help you decide what works and what doesn't work, how to arrange your furniture. They were a great help.
Yeah, and as we get closer into this, your living room space, I've been in your residence a number of times. It is just so comfortable and very spacious. You're able to bring the furnishings that you love, and one of the things I love about this is your bookcase and really entertainment center that you have. What size television is that?
Well, it's 65 inches, bigger than we had in our other apartment. And we've enjoyed this space. It's not a prissy living room, as one might have said in the past. I used to think you had to hide your TV. I don't think that anymore. This is the room where we live, and we really have enjoyed it. It's just a very comfortable space.
Your TV, I know, resets itself with all kinds of art images when you want it to do that, which is fabulous. Back to the bookcase, that was not in there when you selected the residence, correct?
It was not. Our very talented person, Maria at the Hallmark, helped me design this, and exactly to the measurements for the new TV, and I was able to create bookcases, storage underneath, and the TV just fits.
Yeah, it's perfect. It looks great. And then plantation shutters are in many of our apartments, and you have
Furnished.
a nice set that are there. Your view is you look actually towards downtown, and then
Yes, that end window that you see on the beyond, near the dining room, looks over downtown. We can see the skyline. We can see the fireworks on the 4th of July.
fantastic. Now, working down the hallway, there is an office area with pocket doors to close that off if you'd like. But nice spacious space.
Works well.
Yep. That's I see you've got a computer, your printer in there, I guess, place to check emails and pay bills. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
The good thing about at the Hallmark, you don't probably write as many checks, do you?
Oh, so many of the expenses you have in your own home are included. It's really been surprising when I looked at how much less I spend.
Yeah. I think people don't quite understand that, but I find that to be true for sure. So we'll start with the second bedroom. This is your guest bedroom. What a view out that window.
Wonderful view. And I mentioned the freeze and how well we were taken care of. Our daughter and her family lost power. They were very cold in their home. So this room accommodated my daughter, her husband, a grandchild, and a dog during the freeze.
And that worked out well. And across the hall, let's see, this is another view of that bedroom. Nice big closets. That's one thing that our apartments have, are big closets, and those are pocket doors for that. And this is your guest bath, correct?
Correct. Uh-huh.
Right across the hall from that guest bedroom. Now your bedroom, yours and Bill's bedroom is gorgeous here. I'm attracted to how spacious it is.
Very spacious. We've really loved it. It's a wonderful apartment.
Yep. And I
And
noticed
another nice view, you see.
yeah, that's correct. There's carpet in that. Many, I know that some folks that live with us choose to have hardwoods throughout. Standard is for us to have hardwoods in the living space and then carpeting in the bedrooms. And I see that you have that as well. Wow, lots of furniture. You're able to fit some of your favorite pieces, I'm sure. And even a chair with an ottoman that's there. We'll move on to the bathroom. This is your bathroom with dual sink vanity and a nice spacious shower, it appears, with a seat. And then Jane, you did something special and you allowed us to take a picture of your closet. First and
Yes.
foremost, thank you. Not many people would let us do that. But tell everybody about what you did with this dressing table area and the mirror.
I was spoiled. I had in my previous home a little sit-down vanity, and I really loved it. And so I said, can we do something like that? And again, I mentioned Maria, who's so helpful. She came up with this idea. It did take a little space out of the closet, but then there's a lighted mirror on the wall there. You can see it better in that picture. And I've really enjoyed it. I like it a lot.
You even have a television there.
I do have a little TV in there.
Well, that's fantastic. And then you, not all of our residences have a dining, a washer and dryer or utility room like this, but you happen to have that. So
Yes, and I think there almost every residence in the Hallmark now does have either washer and dryer in a large closet or a whole utility room. Yes.
So we have been changing some apartments to that. We didn't build it that way, but as we've renovated, we've been able to offer that. So that's it. Thanks for sharing
That's
that.
Maria that I mentioned. Yes.
I don't know. This is very recent. In Sunday's paper, the Chronicle did a special about Maria and her design, her expertise in design. And so here she is. She has her own design center here at the Hallmark, and she helps people to create the finishes that they like. She and I were in a meeting today, and we're going to be doing an upcoming webinar with her, hosting that as well, telling about the work that she does. So look forward to that. I wanted to touch on several topics with you and talk a bit about the activities that we offer at the community and let you chime in on some of these. Kind of take us through, if you would, read off some of these and just share some of these activities that we have.
Well, in our when I was living in our previous home, I really was not in any groups that played cards or other games. And since I moved here, I think I've learned 4 different new games. Mahjong is one. I'm a beginner, maybe early intermediate. And I've learned some other interesting games, and that's a great way to meet new people. We have fun together. I have availed myself to some of the exercise classes, not all, but some of them. Bill and I did, it says an adventure. We took part in that excursion, and it was great fun, to a little museum and the lunch at the Nymphas over near the ship channel. A group gathers to do needlepoint together on Saturday mornings. That's not something I've done, but I do go to the book club, and it's enjoyable.
Well, and we had this special tea just that last week, honoring the Queen and her reign. And these are some of the images. You participated in this, correct?
I did, but I will admit I was not dressed like some of the participants who really went all out for the occasion. It was delightful to see what people had done.
Yeah, but you did enjoy some scones and some tea, I take it. And there's Bill at the table. You had a
That's right. That's right. Sitting around with a bunch of ladies.
Well, he was not. I see a gentleman behind him. He could have slipped away.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So more images of that. But yeah, some fun outfits.
Great hats. Great hats.
Yeah, for that day. And our staff was there to support a really good time for everybody. But it looks like a great group. I was not there that day. I wish I'd have been there to see this. So, secondly, we have, and you know this, we have been playing a putting tournament we have at the Hallmark, and we put off with our neighbor at Brazos Towers as well. But Jean Loveland is one of our residents, and we've named it the Loveland Trophy. So there's been putting competitions going on for weeks now, and this week is the championship round. So, and Jane, are you participating in this?
I have done in the past. I have not been part of this particular tournament, but I actually bought myself a used putter. I was never a golfer, but that little golf course is fun. I've even taken grandchildren out there.
It's not only fun, but it's tough.
There's some tricky. It looks flat, but it's not flat.
It's not. I've played a lot of golf in my life, and really some of those holes really are challenging, a good test to your golfing skills. So that's been a lot of fun. So some images of 2 of our residents and 3 others that are following along. So, and lastly was last week as well, celebrating Mexican Independence Day. We had a band there and some margaritas, and I take it you were part of that.
Oh, yes. It was party week at the Hallmark. The tea followed by margaritas and the band. Great fun.
Lots of fun. So there's always something going on. That's just a taste of some of the things that are there. A few more events. We have partnered with Rice University for a long, long time and participate in their lecture series. And Jane, I take it you've been part of some of that?
Yes. When I first arrived, we were going over in person, and I went in the van and enjoyed the lectures. During the COVID lockdown, they were streamed, and now it's open again to live and in person, and it's starting in October.
Yeah, good. Fantastic. So,
and that was a preview. The little poster was about a preview of what they have coming up.
And these were some movies that we run. We generally run movies, a variety of movies throughout the week. And so folks just go join in the community center and got something fresh and new just about every week with movies. So dining, I thought I would put a slide up just to showcase a little bit of dining and get you to share with us about what the dining opportunities are at the Hallmark. Can you brief us in that a bit?
One thing I've liked is there is a chef special every lunch and a different one every dinner. But then there's also an a la carte menu. So if the special is not to your liking, you have many other choices. I think the showing a piece of salmon, they do that especially well. And the a la carte choices are everything from that salmon to filet mignon, to fried shrimp, to a hamburger, BLT. So you can always find something to eat that you probably will like a lot. They serve a salad and soup along with the meal if you want that. And unfortunately, they offer dessert every meal.
You don't have
unfortunately, because I can tell when I get on the scales, I'll put it that way.
That's why we have such a good fitness program at the community to allow you to have those good meals. You basically get about one main meal per day included in your monthly fee, correct?
That's right. And sometimes we go to lunch. Sometimes we go to dinner. Some days we're eating out, or maybe I'm actually preparing a meal in my apartment and we eat no meals downstairs. And then maybe the next day we'll eat 2 meals in the dining room. So it's quite flexible. You could also have a guest instead of one of your meals, and that would work. So it's pretty flexible.
Yeah, and the flexibility allows people to really get out and enjoy the restaurants around as well. So we've enjoyed the way we've been able to offer that. I want to just, as we come to our close, why would you think people should consider a move to a retirement community?
When I was on the board, I read a lot of articles about healthy aging, and people who live in community live longer, according to the research. And I think it's the stimulation, the ability to sit at a meal and visit with new people other than just your spouse, and the activities that you can participate in, both physical and mental, I think contribute to that. I'm very glad I moved. I have no regrets.
Fantastic. I chatted with a lady today who was in her early 70s, and she said, I think I'm a few years off. And, I think that's probably the right time for her, she and her husband. And sometimes people are ready at that age. Sometimes people wait. The challenge I see, Jane, is that sometimes people just wait too long. And I would encourage.
Absolutely. I've seen that over and over again.
Yeah, it's better when folks move and then come and enjoy it. And oftentimes they say, oh my gosh, I wish I'd done this a little sooner. I had a gentleman.
I've heard.
Yeah, well, I had a gentleman one day say, Mike, our house is starting to take away more than it gives back. And that was his cue to say, maybe it's time to look at this. So they did that. If pricing is of interest to you, certainly call our office and we can chat with you about availability pricing. We'll share with you information about our entrance fees and our monthly fees. And we encourage you to call and visit either Donna or Lane. And you just call that number there on our phone and on your phone, and we'll connect you with one of the two of them that can help you with this. Jane, thank you so much for being a part of this tonight with us. This has been very helpful. We're recording this, and we'll have this for playback for others to enjoy. But we appreciate you being a part of this tonight.
Thank you, Mike. I was glad to do it.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us a peek inside your home and what life is like at the Hallmark.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Macy. Thanks for hosting this.
Okay. Good night, everybody.